What's up, you? So, I think this is the first drama. I could be wrong. you know, every time I speak, there's a good chance that I'm wrong. It is what it is. If you're honest with yourself, I think you'd find that you also share that trait with me. Isn't that right, Shadow? Yes. Everything she says is crazy. So, I don't know if this is the first drama or not, but I'm sure it's the first Yorgos Lanthimos movie that I am reviewing. Now, if you don't know about this dude, apparently he's kind of weird. I think I had watched one of his movies in the past. It was one of the older ones, like about the girl pulling out her tooth or something. I don't know. It was also a weird movie, but so this movie is strange. If you are not a strange person and you don't find a little bit of weirdness inside of you, I don't think you would enjoy this movie. So I'm just gonna put that right out there. I am pretty strange. I like strange things, and this movie was a little bit strange for even me. The first off, it starts off with this just constantly screeching violin, and I would assume that it's meant to make you unsettled feeling. It makes you just there's like a creep factor to it, and it's irritating. So you have all these pieces coming at you at one time. The irritation is kind of like making you on edge and, you know, trying to figure out why the hell these people talk in this weird monotone way that's just like not really human. And for me, that's part of the disconnect because I like to, you know, I like the obviousness that a human wrote the things that I'm looking. I don't know. It's not even that I don't think he wrote it, or he didn't employ the use of AI to do it, or whatever. I just I like some humanity to my conversations. So when you have these people who seem like the way they speak is so false to the way that people tend to speak, unless they're maybe drug addicts or something. I don't know. You don't normally see people speak in the stilted way that the characters do in this film. It's just very strange. And so it does lend to a further unsettling of the atmosphere, though. So it's well done if it was trying to create the sense of unease and maybe a little bit of dread in you. But then it's weird also in these other ways. Like, there's a doctor, he's smoking. There's part where this guy is demanding to blackmail this family and he wants sexual favors from this woman and he takes a hand job. Yeah. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be crass, but I assure you, there are very few situations where a man is going to insist on a hand job. They may not turn one down. I'm not trying to say they're going to turn one down, but if some guy's already scumbag enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to take, like, kind of like steal sexual favors from this woman because of whatever her husband screwed up, like, you know, I take a hand job. That's so it takes you outside of this movie already in a way past the the weird language and the strange, like, just like harsh violin strings that have no musicality to them or rhythm or feel, or it's just like the dissonant sounds and screeching. And it almost reminds me of the way the alien kid talked in that movie with Jesse Eisenberg where they were peeling up the house. We'll review that some other time. But it was nuts. Nuts. It seemed to me to be strange choices, but the dissonance that it made between me and the film is something that a lot of people may not feel. So, a hand job? I mean, really? Though? Really? I like Colin Farrell. Um, I like Nicole Kidman too. I think that they're talented. I believe is were the actor and actress in this film. It actually has been a bit of time since I watched it because I was so had such a distaste for the movie in my mouth by the time I left it that I was like, nah, I don't really want to talk about it right now. So the next thing you think is, now it's taking me further and further out of the movie. The doctor was smoking. Okay, maybe you could find some doctors who smoke. I think that's probably pretty rare in this day and age. The emotional instability of the doctors in this film, I don't I don't believe that any of them could be doctors. So the whole world now is fanciful. Beyond the points of everything that I've already had to accept that I didn't really want to accept, or just the weirdness of it that seemed too weird for even me, even though I'm quite strange. Um, these people could not be doctors because they don't have the mental stability to be doctors. And I think I'm gonna have to go with that. The music, I mean, say you're 3/4 of the way through the film, it's just annoying, and it's continuous. They're grinding it to you the whole time. Everything in this movie seemed like a grind. It was a grind for me to even walk my way through it. A lot of that was because supposedly it's based on this Greek tragedy about Agamemnon. I don't want to get into the whole story, but it does bear some similar fruits. But that the story was so convoluted. Not the killing of a sacred deer, but it's actually rather straightforward. But the usage of the boy as, a godlike figure who was the meter of punishment, and the person who was going to didn't have to be the one to make the choice, but it was the one who made it clear that a choice would be made. So, the conversations, the just too many parts of this movie made me question the director's intentions, because I usually think by the time that I finish a movie, I understand the point to some degree that they were trying to make. And I thought with the usage of the story of Agamemnon that there would be enough similarity to that story that it would poke through with some form of clarity about the roles that not only what the characters played, but the role that the modern setting played. Because putting it in a modern setting changed so much of the the direction of the story can only be pushed so far as the original story if a lot of circumstances weren't existing as they do in the film. So it was just a constant suspension of my disbelief about everything. And there was no cohesion. So nothing came together in any kind of formation that I found to be satisfying. Which was a shame because I enjoyed the performances in the movie, except for the music director. I know they made you do it, man. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that I didn't enjoy it. So, if everything in this movie was just for weirdness sake, because the intention of the director was aimless, which it seemed to me to be aimless, where's the passion? Like, this is based on a Greek tragedy. So the passion, like, the monotone way that the conversations were just like odd, it takes the passion out of the characters, which I understand was intentional, but I don't understand the intention if you're applying it to a tragic, you know, tale of mythology that is rife with passion. That's literally like the point of the texts. So for me, this was a tough one. I mean, it had incest vibes and spinning around shooting fucking gunshots and dude jerked off his dad and now hand jobs. Come on, bro. Sometimes we just have to say, let's do better. And that's what I think about this movie, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Now, it's a pretty well done film. I'm not going to say it's not a well done film, but it is just a not for me movie. So I'm going to give it a 6.5. It's, if you're not weird, I wouldn't bother. If you are weird, you could at least give it a watch. It's worth a watch. You might resonate with it more than I did. But for the reasons that I've listed out here, I find that this movie is not one I'm ever going to watch again. I hope you guys have a good night. Shadow and I are chilling. I'm going to go with my parents and cut some trees and something. There's a lot to be done over there. Have a good day.